G'day guys, and welcome to round 5 of the Aussie Sim Racing Xbox One F3 League. And that is still a mouthful to say. Yeah, so I've got a lot of changes have happened between the Russian and Spanish Grand Prix, so I better let you know. There were no stewards penalties from the last race, but Formula Dragster, who won the last race, has now gone up to F2, but all points he earned will stay in F3, like the 25 points for the drivers and the 25 points for the constructors will all stay in this championship. Unveil withdrew from the championship because of work commitments. He couldn't find enough time away from work to be able to race, so unfortunately he's had to go. Hope to see him back in ASR in the future. So as a result of this, Prime has moved from Renault to Ferrari to partner Roscoe and take Unveil's seat, and both Spagbolt and Flying Siamang have moved from their respective teams, Sauber and Williams, to team up in the Renault. With the points earned, all three drivers that I just mentioned, Prime, Spagbolt and Siamang, the points they earned for their respective teams will stay with them in the Constructors' Championship. So yeah, like Prime, all his points he's earned are going to stay with Renault, and same with Spagbolt with Sauber. And Siamang hasn't scored points so far this championship, but if he had, they'd stay with Williams. So we'll start off in qualifying, trying to get a good exit out of the final chicane to start this flying lap. This is the only clean lap that I was able to do, as we have a DRS there, so once again I seem to be a one lap wonder, except without the wonder. So we brake a tick after the 100 metre board, run slightly wide, short shift to 5th gear, run out to 6, try and keep it flat out through turn 3, run out to the exit for braking. At my braking point, we run slightly wide in 4th gear, up to 7th before back to 3rd. We run a bit wide, but that's so we can try straighten the car up for turn 7, which we take in 5th gear, into 6th. Didn't use enough road there. 6th gear, run slightly wide at turn 9, open DRS, charge down, brake at the 100 metre board, but we outbroke ourselves slightly, run wide, which cost us a fair bit of time. Thank you, Jeff. So we run this right-hander in 4th gear, up to 5th before shifting down the 4th, ride a bit of that inside curb, drop down to 3rd, try and get a straight run out of this corner, stay off the curbs because the curbs slow you down, open DRS, and we go P2. It's a bit hard to see in this little menu, but we crash out trying to go quicker on our second run, which means that we'll start the race in P2 with Ross getting P1, Schulte in 3rd, Roxman 4th, Prime 5th, Nick in 6th, who struggled with having no racing line. IK was in 7th, Stingy 8th, Burton 9th, Hyperdes 10th, Fry in 11th, Lockie 12th, Liam in 13th, and Siamang 14th, with both Lego Rob and Spagbolt not setting a time. And yep, excuse me. So we'll cut to the strategy. The engineer wants us to do a 2-stop softs, hards, but I don't want to do that. I want to do the 1-stop softs on 2 hards. Game doesn't quite think that I can do that, but I know that my tyre wear is good enough to be able to do it. As you see, I tried to remove a stint, but I can't. Yeah, so I think a couple of drivers on the wheel were thinking of doing a one-stop soft to mediums, which I thought would be a bit ambitious. We bumped the fuel up to 35 laps so that we can run rich mix down the straights and try to hold our position as we wait for the other drivers to ready up. Throughout the week I've been very quick here. I think I did a 1 minute 18.5 in time trial, which was over half a second quicker than my next fellow competitor, which instills us with lots of confidence that we can go on and win this race. But we got to get a clean start here first. So we start the formation lap.
Everything looks good on the power unit cycle, so let's concentrate on bringing tyres and brakes up to temperature.
Yep, that's what we'll do in the formation lap. But we'll cut to Chris here. He was on the formation lap, and Roxman breaks a bit more than Chris expected, and they both got disqualified from the formation lap just by the slightest of nudges, which was kind of ridiculous. So we forming up the grid, we drive through Roxman, who's parked on the grid, Schulte and Ross on our left hand side, just waiting for the grid to form up. Yeah, so I've gone on back to an earlier point. I felt very comfortable here driving this track. Seems to really suit my driving style. Historically it's been a wheel circuit. Now we get ready for the race start. 4 or 5 red lights. They've been held on, but we're away now, and we've got a very good jump on Roscoe, and we're just about going to clear him. We're going on the inside, we outbrake him. We run slightly wide, but we back off a bit so we don't get a good enough, don't get a big advantage. Ross, if you saw briefly behind, goes a bit sideways, but we clear everyone and we just raced away from the start. We have a look from Prime's perspective, and Chaos actually jumped the start, and he's gone in between Schulte and Roxman, which he punts Schulte off the track, which blows up the 100-meter board, which caused havoc in at the start. If you look up ahead, it was a laggy incident between Ross and myself, where I wasn't where the game thought I was, and so Ross actually lost his front wing there and had to pit at the end of this lap. So Schulte runs wide trying to pass Chaos. I think they actually touched. He dives down the inside of Chris, and they slightly touch, and there might have been minor damage to Chris's car. I've got to say thank you to Chris for giving me the footage. As Schulte spuns off there, that was going to hurt his race, as Chaos is very slow at that corner. Turn 9, I should say. And then runs wide here at turn 10. But he banks wheel with Chris, but Chris is through. And he's following, going down the inside of Ross, but Ross holds firm. Locks his brake coming into this chicane here. And yeah, Ross pulls into the pits. He had too much front wing damage. And you see the gap that I had was just ridiculous. So we cut to lap 3. Chaos actually managed to get past the Prime. Wow, I must have missed that. And he's really holding Prime up, as Prime's trying to find every little way to get through, but he just can't quite do it. I mean, I'm not sure why Chaos decided to stay out rather than serve his drive-through, but he comes in now to serve his drive-through penalty, which puts Prime into second place. And I think Roxman must have pitted 2 or something. We cut to lap 4, and Chris has gone wide off the circuit, and that allows Nick through for second place, as Ross earned the fastest lap. It was quite uneventful after that, and actually there's yellow flags at turn 3. Someone's gone off as we come into the pits to fit the hard tyres on lap 12/13. So I don't quite know who it was that was off the track there. They didn't retire and were able to continue on. But yeah, we've served that pit stop. Yeah, common sense from the engineer there. As we pull out of the pits in clear air, we've got 24-second gap to Lockie, 27-second gap to Liam. But we cut to lap 15. We overtook Roxman under blue flags, but he was on the medium tyres and seemed to be quicker, so I decided to just let him through. This little recording I've got is very stuttery, so it's hard to see. As on lap 23, Hyperdius comes out onto the track. He's a lap down and he just decides to block us, makes us go sideways and costs us a lot of time. But we cut to Chris on lap 23. I think he might be a lap down at this point. He's trying to chase down Burton, but he goes a bit slow at turn 9, but brakes and turns in. He's got Roxman right behind him. Well, not right behind I should say, but fairly close. He's trying to find a way past Burton, but Burton is just sticking the car in the right places. Yeah, Chris has a look at the chicane, but he just doesn't brake deep enough, and Burton gets away. But Chris has now got DRS, but he probably should have put it into Rich. And Burton blocks. That's a iffy one. Looks like Burton probably should not have left that a bit late, as Chris runs wide. We'll cut to lap 24 and Chris and Roxman are off.
The track is clear.
They made contact at turn 12 and that shoved them off. As we cut to lap 25 and we had a massive lag spike. We're hitting Fry, but Fry's up the road. Don't know what's happening. And then we settled 119.3. Oh, that's a we have a problem with DRS, but yeah, there's a bit of a laggy incident. As we're having another look at this, this is a bit of a mistake with my recording. I don't know how that's happened, but yeah, cut to lap 26. Continuing on, we got a 19-second gap to Lockie on the soft tyres because after he made a pit stop, and we disconnected. And cut to Chris trying to pass Hyperdius for P11. And Chris looks up the outside, doesn't quite get it. Hyperdius runs slightly wider than I think they made contact. And then Chris runs the outside as there's our message there saying we left the session. And at this point I was screaming, no, 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 no. I was really panicking because I thought it might cost me the race. We managed to rejoin, but I don't know how much time we've lost. Nick is 33 seconds back. We're just waiting on Lockie to see how far he's closed up, and it's now 11.5 seconds. We've lost 8 seconds in that, which to be fair could have been worse, but yeah, it's not something I want happening throughout this race. So we cut to lap 33 now. Round in the last couple of corners. Keep it nice and steady. Around the final corner. And we've won our first ASR race. Get in there. It's been a long time, but we've finally got the win. And oh no, Lockie. Lockie's been taken out by Nick. I mean, that could have been a double Toro Rosso podium, but instead it's a double Red Bull podium. With us in first. Spagbowl in after that kerfuffle managed to get second place. Nick in third. But yeah, it's oh man, I'm so happy, but again, slightly disappointed because it should have been Lockie in second, but yeah, there it is. Ross ended up in fourth. Lockie fell down to fifth place. Like Chaos, after the jump start, still made it to sixth place. Shorty in seventh after a couple of penalties. Fry in eighth. CMA ninth. Roxman 10th. Chris ended up finishing 11th. Again, thanks for sending me your footage. It really helps me out. Hyperdius once again had a connection issue where he, as the last running car finished, I think Hyperdius was still going because he disconnected and his car was still going, but when the last player car finished, it classes him as a DNF, but he completed over 90% of the race, so he is classified as a finish. Burton in 13th crashed out near the end as well. Liam in 14th had also an incident with Nick, but I've seen their crash on the forums and it looks like a racing incident, so Nick doesn't have a case answer there. Lego Rob finished in 15th and Stinchy finished in 16th. Both drivers actually had a tyre glitch where their team put on intermediate tyres onto their cars even though it was fully dry, which is very odd. So have a look at the driver standings now, and we've closed the gap to Nick. It's down to 42 points now, the difference. Spagbowl's moved up to third. Prime is in fourth, and Ross has moved up to fifth place in standings. Then in the constructors, Renault hold on to first place. Ware in second, Red Bull third, Force India fourth. Williams have fallen down the order to fifth, although they're held firm. Forget what I said, they've been able to hold on to fifth. Sauber in sixth. Ferrari moved up to seventh, whereas Mercedes have fallen down to eighth. McLaren are still in ninth. Haas are still in 10th. So it's after Formula Dragster last week blew out the Constructors' Championship, it's tightening up again, and this is going to be a great Constructors battle for the rest of the season. So that'll be it for round 5 action for the F3 Championship. Join us next week for the Crash Fest. That's going to be Monaco. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more Aussie sim racing content, and I think that's it. Actually, also follow me on Twitter. I'll leave the link to that in the description. I'll give constant updates, or a lot of updates on Twitter. So yep, that's it for me. Have a good one and goodbye.